What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to hop back into the ranked ladder to showcase a very special team. And if you've been tuning into the channel for a while, you'll notice that the team that you see on your screen actually looks like our Moltres team back from July, but that's because it is. However, it has been improved and modernized for the World Championships that just concluded in Japan, and it was good enough for day 2 results, right? So you already know that I'm super proud to have at least a little bit of a helping hand in that result with this team, even though I was not the one to compete there. However, you know, we believed in Moltres, you know, since day 1 of the format back in like late June, early July. So, you know, we did everything we could to surround Moltres with the correct 5 pieces. And then at the time in July, you know, this was a really good rental. It won a tournament, an online tournament. It got second place in another one, and they got a bunch of top cuts in some other online tournaments, you know, used by, you know, various other players. So I knew it was a good team. But in order to take it to the World Championship level, it needed some adjustments. It needed to be improved, all right? And thankfully it was. And it was used by 2 players in particular, Sebastian Bisbal and Renzo Navarro, both placing 38th and 43rd in the World Championships respectively. And the rental that you see on your screen in particular is the one that was used by Sebastian Bisbal. So super thanks and shout outs to Sebastian for doing relatively well and taking our original 6 and improving it so that way it could get the day 2 results within the World Championships. Renzo, from what I understand, also used the same 6. You know, they were, you know, both building together and, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other. But from what I understand, he had a different set of EVs, and, you know, some Terra options were a little bit different, at least from what I understand. So I don't quite have his rental. Maybe if he's kind enough, he'll share it. But at the very least, we have the one that Sebastian used, right? And it was pretty cool to see the progression of the team because, you know, right around the week before the World Championship started, Sebastian reached out to me via DMs on Twitter, and he said, Clover, I'm going to take this Moltres team to the World Championships. And I said, okay, whoa, all right, you sure? All right, and he said, yeah, he said, you know, Moltres looks really good in a lot of different matchups. You know, he had all kinds of questions on trying to play different, you know, matchups in particular. And, you know, ultimately Renzo was able to, you know, spar with him, and they both were able to improve the team. And, you know, thankfully they were able to do relatively well, you know, in the World Championship. So shout outs to both of them again, you know, for taking the 6 that I had faith in, that I knew could do well, and they were able to showcase it in the grandest stage, you know, of VGC. All right, but anyway, enough of that. You know, we'll explain more about the progression of the team and why the changes were made, you know, a little bit more at the end of the video. But for now, let's just go ahead and showcase it in some ranked battles. All right, we pretty much almost have a mirror. They've got 4 of the same Pokemon, except there's a Heatran and a Chien-Pao over there. Okay, so does Moltres look good here? There's a Flutter main, there is a Chien-Pao, there's an Iron Hands, there's a Landorus, maybe. Well, we definitely need a Landorus, that's for sure. This is Terra Flying now. All right, how big is my Moltres here? All right, 130 speed. Okay, it's pretty good here. In terms of this one, let me see, take a look here. 192, ooh, okay, speed creeping. All right. Honestly, I would like to just simply start off relatively strong here. Let's go with like Moltres here. The Amoongus could be a little bit problematic, right? So we're just gonna go something like this. I would say maybe even Urshifu looks pretty good here as a lead. Like literally, actually, what's wrong with this? Like Iron Hands and Ursh, fake out Surging Strikes. In the back we'll have Flutter main. And then, do I need the Amoongus? I don't think I necessarily need the Amoongus here. It would help. It's either like Landor or Moltres. I think we have to leave the Moltres behind here and actually just bring the Landorus. So this way we can get Intimidate on their own Landorus and on their own Iron Hands here. And then we also outspeed an opposing Flutter main if they're just like, you know, special attack boosting nature. If it's a, you know, photosynthesis modest nature boost. So Landorus looks really good here as well. So maybe not the matchup for Moltres here. So we'll go with the other 4 instead here. Okay, what is this? So they've got Flutter main and Chien-Pao. That's a very aggressive lead. All right, we've got Surging Strikes and Fake Out Pressure. So Flutter main looks like a great lead here. He could also just simply switch out this Chien-Pao here into something like a Amoongus. That would not be great. But you know, at the end of the day, do I need to Terra this Urshifu? I could. Let's see. I definitely want to fake out something, right? Maybe like you could just simply protect this slot, but like we also have Landorus in the back there, so maybe I can just honestly just go for the Terra right now, right? Just take away my weakness, and then just simply go Surging Strikes here, get some free damage. See what happens if there is an Amoongus switch here. Okay, there's the switch. Is this Amoongus? I would hate if this was Amoongus. This tells me I should have went into the Flutter main slot, potentially. Landorus. Oh, I'll take a free Landorus kill. Okay. So intimidates my Iron Hands. Okay. Yeah. Oh, double swap. Okay. Is this Amoongus? So we're gonna know all 4 Pokemon right here, right now. And it is the Amoongus. So I thought the Amoongus would come in that slot. I guess maybe tried to make that read that I would Surging Strikes the Flutter main, but we'll take a free Landorus kill in this essence. And what's also really good about this Urshifu is we have safety goggles here, and he doesn't know that just yet. So once he clicks the redirection button, we're going to be actually A-okay here. Alright, so this is pretty much just, you know, an unnecessary fake out, and here is the Surging Strikes. It probably should just literally one-shot this thing. Okay, 2 shots. Alright, that's still pretty good. Alright, and there's no Rocky Helmet on this Landorus, which makes me think there's Rocky Helmet on that Amoongus. Right? So my Iron Hands is intimidated, so I could actually just switch this out here, or you can go back into something like Flutter Mane or Iron Hands. And I didn't see a Photosynthesis boost go off there. At least maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I did not. So it could be something else there. It could be like Specs. Yeah, here's the Flutter Mane again. Probably wants to redirect. I don't quite necessarily hate the idea of like Spore necessarily. You know, coming from this Amoongus. There is Chien-Pao in the back, which means I could always intimidate it with Landorus and outspeed it. So, I guess in this case, what I can do, I can get some chip damage on the Amoongus at the very least. Right, just get like some heavy slam damage here. And then just honestly just Surging Strikes over here. Alright. So, this also could be Terra Water Flutter Mane, I would imagine. We'll see. If it is Terra Water, if it's Terra Fairy. Oh, it's Terra Fairy. Okay, then we should be able to live this. We have a decent amount of bulk on this Urshifu. Alright, just all depends. Yep, there's the Rage Powder. So, if he wants to kill the Iron Hands, that's totally fine by me. Because then that's just free Surging Strikes. Oh, he's just going for Deagling. We should live this. Alright, I know it's Terra Fairy, but we should honestly just, yep, we live this very, very comfortably. And now he's going to find out that we are, in fact, safety goggles. Alright, so there's the first shot. Yep. And here comes the second shot. So Flutter Mane goes down, which is huge. Alright. And then now we get a little bit of chip damage on the Amoongus here because of Heavy Slam. Alright, so this is pretty good here. Alright. Nice. And there's the Rocky Helmet confirmed, right? So now the Surging Strikes is not going to do anything here. Now I have a choice. There is the Chien-Pao here. Does Sucker Punch actually kill? I'm not sure. But I could always Intimidate, right? This is also a very risky play. I could recycle my Fake Out. I think I'll go into Landorus now, right? Just to get some Intimidate off there. Right? Not like it matters a whole lot. I would like to get my Fake Out back. And just Surging Strikes again on this slot. Right? I don't think Sucker Punch kills me. It might. But we'll see. It depends. It really just depends. Because I am Terra Water. Okay. So, this switch may not have been necessary, but we'll see. Oh, it's Clear Amulet. Oh, it's... Oh, that's interesting. Alright. So, there is the Sucker Punch. It does kill my Urshifu. Okay. However, I do get Fake Out back. Alright, and I am Scarf Landorus, so that's also pretty good. Alright, so... The thing is now, how can I remove this Amoongus? I could also just literally click Dazzling Gleam here, but... we'll see how do I want to do this? Is it actually just literally Flutter Mane? He is Clear Amulet. That's also another item that's pretty interesting. But let's go into Iron Hands first. Let's go into Iron Hands first. And let's see if there's Protect on one of these mons here. I have to get rid of the Amoongus. Rock Slide would be good here. Potential flinches as well. He might even just protect the Chien-Pao there. That would be my guess, and then I would just lock in. But I kind of need to fake out this Amoongus here. I think it's pretty important. This way Dazzling Gleam can potentially just finish the game off. Okay. Alright, we'll see what if he has Protect here. Okay, he's thinking about it. Does he even have Protect? Yes, he does. Okay, does he double Protect? Does he double Protect? Alright, no he doesn't. Alright, so there's Fake Out. There's going to be a little bit of Rocky Helmet chip damage here. Alright, but we do click Rock Slide here. I would love to get a little bit of chip damage on the Amoongus. And we do, so that's nice. That's a very good chip. Alright. Could have been double finished there. Alright, so we're just going to click this again. And we'll force his hand. He could, again, honestly just Sucker Punch my Iron Hands. But in all honesty, I'm just going to keep clicking Drain Punch here. Force him to redirect. So this way. Yeah, there's the Rage Powder. Alright, we just need Rock Slide to connect at least once. So this way we're kind of just chilling. We do connect, so that's good. That should just, honestly, just win us the game here. Alright, there's the Icicle Crash. And it goes into Landorus. Perfect. Alright, so now we simply just outspeed and we click Drain Punch here and the game is over. Okay. Alright, so there's the Drain Punch. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Alright, so we get a little bit of recovery, of course, and then a little bit of Rocky Helmet chip, but that's pretty much it. Alright. Nice. And now Flutter Mane just comes in and clicks whatever it wants. You know, of course we're going to click Moonblast. And I would love to see if Sucker Punch actually does KO this Flutter Mane, but I don't think it would. Alright, anyway, Moonblast here, Drain Punch over here, and that should pretty much be it for this one. Yep, battle was cancelled. Yeah. So I just wasn't sure if the Sucker Punch would kill that Urshifu there. I wasn't sure about the calc there, but, you know, we went for it. Okay, so this is one of those Tailwind hyper-offensive teams, you know, Regidrago, Tornadus. No Boldengo here, but there is an Indeedee here, so no Ferrograph, but instead you get the Indeedee. Urshifu and Chien-Pao, of course, and there is Heatran. Probably also has Substitute, you know, for those Trick Room matchups. Okay, so I don't have Tailwind on my Moltres anymore. I do like Flutter Mane in this particular game. It just really all depends on the Terra on that Regidrago there, and could even start off very strong here just by clicking Flutter Mane and clicking Dazzling Gleam on everything. So that could be an idea. Also, Amoongus looks pretty good as well. But yeah, like, is it a bad idea if I just do like this, and then even like Iron Hands here, or even like maybe the Moltres, just like Dazzling Gleam and then Nasty Plot on the Moltres, right? This looks pretty good. Iron Hands in the back also looks pretty good. I don't know if I need Landorus here. Not so great against Urshifu and Chien-Pao. Maybe Amoongus? Or simply the Urshifu yet again. You know, maybe the Ursh again. I think this is also pretty good. Let's try this. So my idea is, like, if he wants to do like Regidrago shenanigans, I'm just going to click Dazzling Gleam turn 1, and, you know, maybe even pin a potential slot by also like playing greedy and going with the Nasty Plot of the Moltres just in case. But we'll see how he wants to lead this. If this is in fact Tailwind and, you know, Dragon Energy, we'll see. Urshifu Indeedee. Okay, so I figured he might try the Indeedee, which is also why I led the Moltres. Okay. All right, so this is actually pretty good here, in essence. Alright, so honestly I can literally click Dazzling Gleam here, and I can also click Fiery Wrath. Potentially I can also, you know, I have to remove the Indeedee at the end of the day, so I don't know if I can afford to go for the Nasty Plot here. But Terra Fairy looks also very strong here. Like, what if I just literally did this, like Dazzling Gleam, super effective damage, and then literally click Fiery Wrath? Like, is this a big deal? Let's see. Alright. Withdraws the Indeedee. Okay, so something's coming in. Is it Tornadus? Alright, it's Chien-Pao. Ooh, I would love to Dazzling Gleam that thing down to its sash. Okay, and then we will pick up something. Right? Yeah. So we Terra first. Very interesting. Well, yeah, we're faster. Never mind. Not interesting. Not interesting. Okay, so Terra Fairy, Flutter Mane. Okay. See what kind of item this Urshifu has here. Alright. Ooh, it's Scarf Ursh. Okay, well, there's the U-turn. So something's taking a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam here. Alright, as well as a, you know, Fiery Wrath. Is it back into Indeedee? You know, you can't click priority moves with that thing. It's Heatran. Ooh. Actually, he's going to take these attacks relatively well. Alright, Dazzling Gleam. I would still like to, you know, break the sash on this Chien-Pao here. So that's very good damage there. And literally just click Fiery Wrath. And we get a free Chien-Pao kill over here. Yeah, there's the sash, of course. There's the sash, and here is the Fire Wrath. So we know actually all 4 options. There's an Urshifu, there's an Indeedee. Okay. We just killed the Chien-Pao. And here's the Heatran. Alright, it gets a little bit of recovery, of course. Alright, we can always Shadow Ball that slot. Actually, we can't because we clicked Dazzling Gleam. Here's the Urshifu yet again. Okay, we can always Air Slash that. Also, potentially. So, Dazzling Gleam over here. And I can also literally just take the time to Nasty Blast. So, if he Scarf, he probably outspeeds actually, right? That's not great. He probably just simply outspeeds. So, I might have to literally go into my own Urshifu. You know, as much as I hate that, but I think it is actually the correct play. The question is, does he click Aqua Jet or Surging Strikes? I think we'll go into Iron Hands, actually. And let's literally click Air Slash. Actually, let's click Nasty Plot. Let's play a little greedy here. Let's play a little greedy. We'll force this switch. Alright, this is a big gamble. I don't know if this is correct, but I'm going for it. Surging Strikes. Yup, I figured. Because he's Scarf, right? He has to do this. So we would have lost the Flutter Mane right then and there. I could have easily Air Slashed this slot, but I don't think it would have killed because my Moltres isn't all that strong at the moment, which is why I went for this Nasty Plot. Oh, I didn't go for Nasty Plot. I think I timed out then. Well, that's not good. Can I get a flinch? Can I get a flinch? I get a crit on the Ursh. Give me the flinch. Dang. Okay. We missed something. That's the one I wanted to get it, to get me into the range of the Fiery Wrath. Okay. So this Urshifu is not Scarf, so that's good. I mean, doesn't have Protect. So now what I can do is literally Fake Out. And literally also Air Slash. And he's forced to switch again. Oh wait, no, I can't click Fake Out. There is a Psychic Terrain out there. So, alright. Looks like I might just die there. Literally, again. So do I give up the Iron Hands here? I think it's okay. I'll give up the Iron Hands here. And honestly, I will go for the Nasty Plot here. Alright, now I will actually go for the Nasty Plot. I do outspeed the Heatran there, so that's good. Alright, so I'll give up the Iron Hands here. Again. Not quite sure if I'm playing this matchup correctly. Okay. But at the very least, I can start putting pressure here. I thought I clicked Nasty Plot last turn, right? Which is why I didn't need to necessarily go for this play now. I guess I might have timed out that previous turn. But we'll see what the heat. That's a single target heat wave. Okay, not quite. Okay, that might get me below. I would love if it did. Can it get me below? And proc Berserk? I would love if it did. Then it'll get me my berry going. Alright. Come on, Moltres. Burn. Below. Oh, dude. That's literally like 1 HP off. Oh, man. Actually, that's okay. Alright, we're gonna go into our own Ursh. That's unfortunate. Alright, and he does have Surging Strikes too. It's not great, I will tell you that much. So I think we have to literally click Surging Strikes on that Ursh. Do we? Or do I click Close Combat here? It's tough, right? Alright, we'll do it like this. We'll force him to click it. Okay, he's terroring now. Is this Terra Grass Heatran? Has to be, right? See the blue Pokemon. Yeah, it's Terra Grass. Let's see. It is Terra Grass. Okay. That's fine. We should take 1 Surging Strikes now, because he should be able to get me to my berry. Alright, Surging Strikes. Okay. Activate berry. Alright, Moltres might die here. Actually, can I live a second one? It's gonna be close. Oh, yeah, I do live. Okay, this is okay. This is in essence okay. Okay, because now we get rid of the Urshifu. There's Berserk. Okay. Alright, here's the Surging Strikes in this Heatran slot. Alright. Now, he could miss Heat Wave, which would be very good. Alright. But this Scarf Urshifu had to go, because we still have Fluttermane in the back. Alright, good job in the Earth Slash there. We get to remove the Ursh. So that's good. He's down to 2 Mons. We're going to lose the Moltres here. We might even potentially lose both here, but we'll see. Terra Blast, Terra Grass. Oh, he went straight for this Urshifu, it looks like. Okay. Alright, that's probably because we're going to die to Burn. Okay. So he did not go for the Heat Wave, which means he's giving our Moltres a chance to live. Alright, Moltres is down to, it can take 1 more burn. And here we have a Fluttermane here. We should be able to outspeed pretty much everything. We have Dazzling Gleam. It's Indeedee again. So we can literally just lock ourselves into Dazzling Gleam here. We have to pick up this Heatran and then also pick up this Indeedee here. Alright, so we're gonna try and pick up the Heatran here and obviously also try and click Fiery Wrath. We'll do our best. Indeedee protects. That's okay. As long as we can just pick up this Heatran here. This is Terra Fairy. Oh, he double protect. Okay. So he really wants the Moltres to die. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Because we have 16 HP. We should have 4 left if the math was done correctly here. Or at least a little bit above 4. Because I don't remember what was our starting HP here. Okay, after all the animations have set. Alright, he made the right play here. I don't fault him for this. There's more leftovers recovery. But again, we outspeed this Heatran. That's the main thing to understand here. Alright, we should be able to survive on 5. Yep, exactly. So not 4, but 5. So terrain is gone. So now we just simply click Dazzling Gleam again. Just simply the same exact play. And as long as we remove the Heatran, we should be fine. Alright, Dazzling Gleam. Either way, the Fire Rat should be able to pick up everything from here. Yep, that's totally fine. And Indeedee will drop here. So, Moltres with enough bulk to literally take it. But even if Moltres died there, it doesn't matter because the Heatran just dropped the Dazzling Gleam anyway. There's not really a whole lot the Indeedee can do against a Fluttermane one-on-one, especially when we're Terra Fairy as well. So, yeah, the whole thing was the Scarf Urshifu, right? But we handled it fine. Alright, so we get the win anyway. Alright, so now that we showcased it in a couple of battles, now let's talk about how, the pace overall and just some of the changes that Sebastian made to the team. He didn't quite tell me what some of these changes were for, but we were able to kind of just plug them into the Pokemon damage calculator and just kind of reverse engineer the spreads and just see just what some of these spreads were doing. So I guess the easiest one is actually the Urshifu. That 60 HP investment along with 124 SPDF and 164 speed, that pretty much is the same exact spread that was used, back in July, that was created by some of the Japanese players. And again, with this investment, you're able to survive the Dragonite E-Speed boosted from Chien-Pao. And then from there, you're just hitting the attack bump in the 156 attack investment. And then 124 SPDF along with that HP investment. That lets you live Fluttermane Dazzling Gleam. Modest 116 investment. I don't think, no Terra, by the way. So in that sense, okay, it's pretty much a reusable spread. So that one pretty much stayed the same. The Amoongus, that bold natured Amoongus rather than relaxed, so that's gonna outspeed other Amoonguses outside of Trick Room. And then that 188 investment along with 244 regular defense, that allows you to survive a Adamant Chien-Pao, Icicle Crash without having to burn your Terra. So in that sense, you know, that's a pretty good calc to have. And then the rest just literally went into Speed-F. The Iron Hands, 76 attack investment is the first attack bump there. And then with 148 HP and 4 defense, that lets you survive a Ursaluna Earthquake at, you know, Adamant 252. You know, regardless, no Intimidate needed. So you will live at 1 HP, you know, at max damage. So that's pretty good in that sense. And then literally the rest just went into like special defense. And then 44 speed, probably to just pretty much speed creep the other Iron Hands. A lot of them, sometimes they go for 12, 20, and 36 speed investments. So this way with 44, you're just able to outspeed the mirror matchup and then, you know, pretty much just go from there. Otherwise, it's a very standard move set. The Flutter main next up here. So basically it has 4 attack moves and it's choice specs rather than the, you know, the boost energy that we like to run with Protect. Oh, by the way, before I continue on with the Flutter main, you know, Renzo and Sebastian, they also made the adjustment with the Urshifu to go with safety goggles. And you kind of saw that in the first game, how it's actually really, really beneficial because, you know, it really just helps counter some of those Flutter main Amoongus leads that you might see relatively often because, you know, you need to really get around the Amoongus in order to hit that Flutter main. Otherwise, you just get chipped by the Rocky Helmet on the Amoongus, and then, you know, you just get Rage Powdered, and there's nothing really you can do. Our way around it was to go Terra Grass, of course, but in this case, you don't have to burn your Terra that way. You know, and you can still address the same problem by going with Safety Goggles. Yes, you do lose out on the damage from the Mystic Water, but at the very least, you get to preserve your Terra, and you still get around Amoongus in this sense, and then you also don't get you know, slept in terms of Spore shenanigans, so you can always do like a timely switch with your Urshifu if you think an Amoongus is going for Spore and you can't really KO it at that particular turn. But that's the whole reason behind it. And then you can also literally switch out Close Combat and go for that Swords Dance variant and then drop the attack to 76 if you want to do that. Again, if you saw our previous 2 videos, we were pretty much talking about that because that was relevant within the World Championships. So that's one change or one adaptation that you, the viewer, can do if you want to make this team into your own. But at the given time, this is what Sebastian was using, and it's pretty much, you know, still very, very good. Back to the Flutter main. Again, it's choice specs. So again, with specs versus booster, it pretty much just allows you to get KOs. You know, especially in the early going, you know, if you literally just need like Dazzling Gleam KOs, Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam, Terra Fairy, Moonblast, you know, choice specs literally is a very, very good damage boost. And then at the same time, you know, you're able to at least have some flexibility in switching in and out the Flutter main without having to, you know, burn your particular booster energy boost, right? So in this sense, you'll always keep your choice specs damage, you know, for the rest of the game, you know, because it's a different item than boost energy. And then at the same time, you get a little bit of speed control here. They opted for Icy Wind, right? We don't have the Tailwind on the Moltres anymore, and this is a timid Flutter main. So, and with this 156 investment, that'll get you to the 192 speed tier, which is important, right? A lot of you know, speed tiers on some of these faster Pokemon, they'll go for like, you know, 189, 190 just to outspeed Roaring Moon. So 192 will kind of speed creep those ideas. And then from there, you know, you have a pretty good amount of bulk there with 76 HP, 140 defense. That'll still let you live Jolly Sucker Punch as well as Ice Spinner for that matter, but not the Adamant one. It's still a it's still a roll. And it's not the greatest of rolls, but it's not a terrible roll in terms of the Adamant Ice Spinner / Icicle Crash. So you still have a decent amount of investment. One thing you could even do is just like change this Flutter main Terra to like Terra Grass or Terra Water, which is again another way of getting around the Amoongus and also another way of getting around the Urshifu because, you know, whether you're Terra Grass or Terra Water, you're able to resist the Surging Strikes. All right. We already mentioned the Amoongus. The Landorus. So listen, hear me out. You know, when I was making the team back in like late June and early July, I thought like Intimidate was going to be like a huge thing. And so at that time, you know, I opted for Safety Goggles with Protect on the Landorus. But, you know, of course, you know, meta changes and meta develops, and Scarf is just probably the better item. Actually, it's not probably. It is the better item on this particular team. It'll let you outspeed pretty much all Flutter mains, you know, that aren't like speed boosting booster energy. So you can get off a potential Stomping Tantrum or a Rock Slide. You can pivot out of there with U-Turn, or you can just literally go for Terra Blast, Terra Flying, you know. And from here, you are Adamant natured up until the 3rd benchmark there with 196 investment. So you're going to do a lot of damage there. And pretty much Adamant Max Speed Landorus is, you know, the way to go if you want to go with like a Choice Guard variant, right? And literally the rest just went into like a little bit of points in HP and 1 point in SpDef, and that's pretty much all there is to it in terms of this Landorus. Because at the end of the day, with this Choice Scarf, you're going to hit 214.5 rounded down to 214, which is good enough to outspeed Dragapult by 1 point, right? So that's also very important because, you know, again, Dragapult's back in the meta. It literally just reached the finals, right? So just to be able to have something to outspeed that besides your Flutter main is also very important. Then lastly, the Galarian Moltres here. So compared with our Moltres, we went more heavy on the SpDef department just because I wanted to calc the Moltres to live a modest 116 booster energy Moonblast without having to waste my terrestrialization in the poison nature, of course. Excuse me. But in this sense, they've opted to go for a more physically defensive build. Probably better. You know, it still survives Dragonite E-Speed, right? Boosted by Chien-Pao. I think the highest roll is like 92%, but you can't live both E-Speed and the Chien-Pao attack. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But in that sense, again, you know, just like us, we were at the first benchmark in the special attack. I believe we had 76. They're at 84, so it's more or less the same idea. They're a little bit faster. They're at 130 speed, which is, you know, still pretty good. Because, again, a lot of these 90 base speed Pokemon, they like to go for, you know, around 125, 126, 127 speed tier, you know, just to outspeed the Flutter mains after +1. But in this sense, by going by, you know, for 130, you're able to outspeed and speed creep them. So that's pretty good in that sense, right? And you also take Urshifu Surging Strikes, you know, so there's a good idea there. If you, you know, you have the Citrus Berry to help you out there. So that's also a very good benefit there in having a little bit more physically defensive build, which is what we have over here. All right, and is there anything else I'm missing in terms of what I think what some of these spreads can do? I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, so, you know, and just in terms of like some of the move sets, like of course our Moltres had Tailwind, and that was probably the thing I struggled the most, you know, is just like deciding whether to put Protect or Tailwind on the Moltres at the time, you know, late June, early July. But eventually I went with Tailwind because it was good in like certain scenarios against like those Tornadus teams. But, you know, Sebastian and Renzo, they just pretty much said, no, we don't really need it. What we're going to do is just, we're going to go with Protect for better positioning. And then, you know, we'll just stall with those Tailwind teams by just trying to pick up as much KOs as possible. And that Flutter main clean up in the end and outspeed everything. And then just click, you know, you know, Dazzling Gleams or Moonblasts and just hope that it can do the job in that sense, right? And you still have Icy Wind anyway, right? So there's, and Scarf Landorus. So in that sense, that'll compensate for your lack of Tailwind in that regard, right? So, and then from there, of course, the Landorus is Scarf rather than our Goggles with Protect. So, you know, U-Turn is a good move there, along with Rock Slide and Terra Blast, Terra Flying. That was the ultimate deciding move. So now this way, this Landorus, it's not just a pivot bot. It can also be offensive. It has a lot more attack than we did. We had Adamant 36. They have, which is to the first benchmark. This is Adamant 196, which is to the third benchmark. So it's doing a lot more damage. So this way it can be a little bit more of an offensive threat next to the Moltres, right? Our Iron Hands, we had it at Adamant 156. They dropped it to 76. So from second benchmark to first benchmark, again, a little bit more bulk in terms of the HP and a little bit of speed. So understandable there. And the Urshifu was more or less the same one that we had. I think actually we had a Sash Urshifu on ours. So they went with the Adamant bulkier set, right? Which of course is understandable, right? But overall, you know, it's a great team. Literally this, if you just remove the Moltres, if anything, that 5 with Landorus, Amoongus, Flutter main, Iron Hands, Urshifu, we spoke about it in like our last few videos. It's like the best 5 core in the format. You can put a lot of things in that Moltres slot. You can put in Chien-Pao, right? Which is what a lot of the Japanese players did, and that's what you saw in Top Cut. There were literally 4 teams with Chien-Pao in that Moltres slot, and it was the same team. And then, you know, again, that is your world champion, right? Chien-Pao in that Moltres slot. You can put in Heatran in that slot. That's also very, very good. It's just a very, very flexible slot. You can literally take this 5. You can even put in Dragonite for all I care, right? So, you know, if you're really like just trying to get like something going in terms of team building on your own, like literally start with that 5, and then that last slot, you know, is very, very flexible in that sense, right? But, you know, again, we'll just go back here into the rental right here. Yep. So again, shout outs to Sebastian for doing a great job with the squad, basically taking it to new heights that I couldn't do, and then just showcasing truly what Moltres can do in the World Championship. So shout outs to Sebastian as well as Renzo Navarro, right? Again, we don't have his Renzo, we don't have his spreads, but again, he has the same 6, just his own spreads and that and whatnot. But again, the team as a whole, as a 6, I'm glad to see it progress, and still be the same 6, just different movesets and item choices here, so shout outs to both of those players for doing relatively well in the World Championships. All right, but that's gonna do it for now, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you understood some of the progression that went down and some of the changes and why they were done, as far as like what we did back in late June, early July, to what Sebastian as well as Renzo did, as of right now in August in the World Championships. All right, we'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out and have a good one.